Well, we're no Cat Williams, but we do have a controversial thing to talk about today. And so we're smoking two great cigars we'll tell you about here in a second, and talking about, does nicotine really affect your athletic performance? All next on the Zeal Cigar Review. All right,
That's a loaded question.
It is. It is. So when we talk about nicotine, we're talking particularly about cigars. We're not necessarily talking about, smokeless tobacco, vaping, or anything else like that. We're talking specifically about cigars.
Yeah.
So tell them about the cigars that we're smoking today.
So we're going to smoke, we don't smoke a lot of Habanos.
We don't. We have been recently, though. We've been doing a couple videos on Habanos. And what is this beautiful Habano that I'm showing people at home right now?
That is the Sanitarium hallucinating Habano.
So here's my question. In the lineup, is this the absolute best one there is? Because there's the Connecticut, there's the Maduro.
Oh, you mean out of the Sanitarium?
Out of the Sanitarium.
No, I prefer the Maduro, hands down, yeah.
I haven't had this in a long time. I can't wait to get into it and tell you what we think about it. But in order to do that, you know what we got to do? We got to cut, light, and
smoke.
All right, dude. Use my new Zyphy lighter. I think you guys saw this before, but just in case you haven't, it's been on a couple shorts and everything. Beautiful, beautiful lighter. Somebody's like, it's cheap. Look at the lines. I'm like, what lines are you looking at, bro? The lines look perfect. I don't understand what you're talking about. I can't really hold it as best I want to, but yeah, it looks good, man. The lighter looks really good. So much so that JB tried to steal it. I got it on video. You can't lie.
Proof.
Well, what do you get out of cigar as you're smoking it, JB? Just from the rip.
It's got a nice woody nuttiness to it.
Yeah.
A little bit of creaminess, like a caramely creaminess. Mm-hmm. So far, it's fairly pleasant. A little bit of like a breadiness, but it's not as prominent as it is in the Connecticut.
I will say this. This has a beautiful white pepper on it. Not black pepper, not spicy, but a white pepper gives you just enough kick that it makes it, I don't know, as unique as possible to this cigar in particular. And I will say also that the cigar is delicious. It's very woody, very nutty, like you said. It's got those caramel notes in there as well. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, graham cracker.
Graham cracker.
Oh, yeah.
And it pairs really good with the coffee. Whenever I go back to a cigar that I don't smoke for a long time, and I always try to tell myself, like, why is that a cigar I don't smoke more often? Mm-hmm. And then you're mad at yourself because you don't smoke it more.
Yeah.
This is one.
It's a very good cigar.
I'm actually mad at myself. I couldn't tell you the last time I smoked one of these.
I couldn't either. I really couldn't. It's a very good cigar, though. A very good Habano. It doesn't smoke like a Habano. A lot of times my Habanos come off a little, I forget that word, that term I've used, but almost
like a teenager.
Yeah, not quite right.
Sometimes they love you, sometimes they hate you, sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're a little spicy, sometimes they're a little bit of both. Yeah.
But this cigar is very, very delicious.
I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, it's very, very delicious. So, well, we're talking about cigars and sports, cigars in the gym, cigars and athletic performance. So this has been kind of a hotly debated thing for a long time, and it's something that when you read all the stats behind it and everything like that, if you haven't yet watched Andrew Huberman talk about nicotine, you should actually go watch this video right now, and I'll actually link it below, because I think it's a very, very good video for anybody that uses any kind of form of nicotine to definitely watch. But we're talking particularly about cigars, and the nicotine released by cigars is a lot less than people would think.
Yeah.
So it's not nearly as much as like, say a pouch or a Zen or, an on nicotine or anything like that. It's a lot less, because in order to get the full nicotine out of a cigar, you got to huff it like crazy.
Yeah, it's got to get real hot.
Yeah, and you usually don't do that. So you're not getting a ton of nicotine out of a cigar. So how much impact does this really do to like muscle development, athletic performance, and everything else like that? What are your thoughts, JB?
Well, it's interesting when you say that, because like when I grew up, my first sport I probably ever played organized was probably t-ball, right?
Okay, yeah.
Ever since I can remember, there's been MLB players with chaws in their mouth, dude. Big, fat lippers, pitchers.
Statistically, 25% of MLB players.
Dip?
Yep, statistically, yeah.
Is there see, I've never looked into or talked to anybody personally about, like, what is that reason for? Is it just a habit? Is it just something they do because they're standing out in the field?
I think nicotine's addictive, and if you did it once before,
yeah, for sure.
Gotta get into it, yeah.
But why is it such a big thing in baseball?
It's probably part of a culture. I'd imagine that it's part of a culture. So, yeah. So I never played baseball. I played t-ball when I was a kid and everything like that. We had big league chew. Like you have.
So for me, when I equate nicotine or tobacco with sports, I immediately think baseball. But that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking more cigars.
Right, exactly.
Which I think anytime I ever see athletes smoke cigars outside of Michael Jordan is typically after a big win.
Right, 100%.
Right? So that's something that's even televised, right? So all these millions of kids that watch sporting events, if they're really worried about tobacco, why are you showing their heroes smoking cigars after a victory?
Because I think the answer to that is it's the hypocrisy of media. So we know that. I mean, we know that they say things like, don't smoke tobacco and cigars are bad and everything else like that. Although almost every single study that's been done on cigars, they have very little to nil effect on your body as far as carcinogens or anything else like that. So, but I will say this. I've done my own experiments, just personally with me, on smoking cigars before the gym and after the gym. So yes, I go to the gym. I know. Imagine if I didn't, what I'd look like. So,
dude, since I was 18, even being a college athlete, I would smoke cigars every once in a while at college.
Oh, sure.
All my boys always laugh too, like Juju and Paris. They'd always be like, "What you doing, bro? You smoking that cigar?" And then like 4 or 5 other dudes would come over and smoke it with me.
Right. I think in regards to athletics, most people smoke cigars like after a sporting event, like we were talking about, to relax or what have you. But it's really the ritual of smoking a cigar that's enjoyable, not necessarily the nicotine that you get out of it. If there's a cigar that has a lot of nicotine pop in it or anything else like that, it tends to make you sick, and then you have to drink some Coca-Cola with it, which kind of really does away with any progress you made athletically. But I've smoked cigars before and after, and I've done some research myself on this on multiple Pew Research articles and everything else like that I've read about. And I'll put some down in the links below. That there's been very little detriment to any muscle atrophy or anything else like that that the nicotine from cigars actually release. And so, with that said, I don't know that it really matters if you smoke a cigar before an athletic performance or after.
See, I would be interested too to see because like when I was a college athlete and I ran track, there's very specific things that are considered stimulants, and there's certain things that are not. Like, for example, if I won the 100-meter or 200-meter race, I would immediately test it after.
Right.
If you win an event, you're almost immediately tested, especially if it's a conference or a national event, right? Or a big meet. And there are guys that have gotten in trouble for having too much caffeine in their system.
Okay.
Because caffeine is a stimulant. And when you look at like your fast twitch muscles and things like that, if I took a shot of espresso before a race, I could potentially increase my fast twitch muscles a little bit by the caffeine. And
nicotine is a stimulant as well. So along the same lines as caffeine. But
I wonder how much in comparison, right? Yeah,
cigars, the stimulation that you get from cigars in particular is very little to none. So affecting your athletic performance. Now, if you use a different form of nicotine prior to athletic performance, like you were talking about baseball, like dip, like dip in particular, or even nicotine pouches, there would be a much more dramatic effect on your athletic performance. And possibly even positive, in the sense that, like,
where's the baseball players at?
Right,
They're
exactly.
Gonna be like, what performance, bro? I still hit bombs, dude. I got a fat foot, but I still throw the ball 95.
Yeah, exactly. So, in regards to this, I don't know that there's a case to be made that smoking cigars before an athletic performance is going to be detrimental to your athletic performance.
I think it helps.
I think in one sense, if the ritual of smoking cigars where you're relaxed and enjoying yourself and maybe getting focused and everything, that's one of the things that nicotine actually does. If you watch any of Huberman's videos, it laser focuses you very, very quickly. And I know this because I use nicotine outside of cigars. I really do. I use on nicotine. I've not made any secrets about that whatsoever. I got off tobacco dip, the Copenhagen and everything else like that a while back. And so now I use nicotine. And the detrimental effects, not much at all for me, to be honest with you, but it gives me a nice laser focus when I'm doing that. And I like the taste and flavor because I can't take anything sweet in because of the daggone carnivore diet I'm on. Anyways, I digress. But I think that when it comes to smoking cigars afterwards, you're not worried about the athletic performance at that point.
Yeah,
you're just relaxing. Yeah, you're relaxing and enjoying yourself. I think
it's just recovery at that point.
Right. I think here's the thing
could it affect recovery though? Because if nicotine does restrict blood vessels, That would restrict blood flow,
Yeah.
which would limit the amount of oxygen flowing to your body to heal itself, essentially, right?
But how much is the issue?
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. How much is the issue? So in every study that I looked at, I didn't see a major detriment anywhere in there. And they've said the studies are fully inconclusive. There hasn't been any major studies done with high performance athletes doing this. Now they break it down by different types of nicotine, tobacco versus non-tobacco nicotine and so on and so forth. And with non-tobacco nicotine, you're getting so much more than you would out of a cigar in particular. And one of my favorite things to do after the gym, particularly on the weekend, is have a chocolate protein shake with a little bit of peanut butter and a nice cigar. And I absolutely love it. I really do. It's super enjoyable for me, particularly with the right cigar, the Alchemy.
Yeah.
The Alchemy Elixir, that was peanut butter protein shake, peanut butter chocolate protein shake. Yeah, forget about it. It's a great day when you have a cigar, resting your body after a really hard workout. It really is. So,
and I kind of we were talking off camera about it a little bit, and I was like, I think Jordan knew something that people just didn't know. And I've kind of said this before about the whole sticking your tongue out thing.
Sure.
Because there is science behind jaw alignment and relaxing the rest of your spine. So
wow.
Sticking your tongue out like that and dropping your jaw can actually relax your jaw all the way back to your neck and release tension all the way down your back.
Which would make sense if you're jumping and slamming a ball and coming down. You don't want your spine to compress even more, so you relax it.
But I think he was onto something with cigars.
Yeah, Jordan smoked a lot of cigars before.
But he smoked before games.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Think about it. Think about it. Mm-hmm. You want to guard somebody with cigar breath? You want to you want to shoot that 3-pointer with Michael Jordan breathing in your face with cigar breath, though?
Yeah, dude.
No way, bro. I think he had it way more than just, because I used to chew garlic before games. My mom used to hate it. She'd be like, that's so freaking gross. Why are you chewing on garlic before you play basketball? And I'm like, because they don't want to guard me, Mom. They don't want to guard me anyway, but they don't want to guard me smelling like garlic.
I mean, that's so true. I never thought about that. It'd be fun to be lining up against a guy and have garlic breath on him.
What are you going to do on a basketball court when some dude faces you with a ball in his hand and you just go, and he's like, he's got to overcome that mental objection to continue playing the game, dude.
Absolutely.
It's head games, bro.
Absolutely. So you think Michael Jordan was doing it for the sake of of head games?
Think about it. You're a football player, right? Mm-hmm. You're sitting in the locker room. Mm-hmm. The other team's quarterback comes in, smoking a cigar, looking around the room going, who's the defensive lineman that's going to sack me today?
That's a bold quarterback.
Come on, bro.
That's a very bold thing to do.
While he's smoking a cigar before playing, you're like,
this dude's relaxed. This dude's relaxed. It is really kind of interesting. Like,
it's gangster.
It is gangster, dude. Somebody walks in and says that to your team.
Fight me about the LeBron Jordan conversation. I'll fight anybody. Is LeBron one of the best stat stuffers in the world? Yes. Can he walk into another locker room smoking a cigar, look at the guy that's going to guard him and say, I'm dropping 50 on your tail tonight? Nah, bro. I'm going to breathe cigars in your mouth while I do it.
And that's Jordan? Jordan did that stuff? Dude.
Jordan would walk into the other team's locker room, go, hey, so-and-so's injured. Who's guarding me tonight? He's guarding me tonight? I'm dropping 50. I'll see y'all later. And then he would drop 60. While smoking.
Dude, that is gangster, man. That is gangster. So the question is, do cigars impede your athletic performance at all? Now, if you're allowed to smoke cigars and if you're of age to smoke cigars and everything else like that, and you've checked with your medical professional and everything like that, and there's no hindrance for you, I don't know that it would affect it at all. Can I say that it affects it in a good way afterwards? Personally speaking, I've not seen anything. Now, I'll say this. I have had a cigar on an empty stomach just with coffee before I worked out, and I was much more hyper.
Really?
Much more, yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me you got sick.
No, much more hyper. I mean, I had a lot more energy, and that wasn't because I used pre-workout or any other supplements. It was just literally coffee and a cigar.
Yeah, well, both of those are stimulants.
They are.
You could technically get the jitters.
Right.
You made a good point about relaxing after a workout. Mm-hmm. If you ask any professional weightlifter... Mm-hmm. What it's and a lot of this has to do because a lot of those guys take stacks of
Supplements.
Whatever, right? I'm staying out of that.
Not.
I'm staying
Kenny
out
KO
of that.
sound off. Kenny KO sound off.
Staying out of that one. But a lot of those guys have stacks of stuff that include things that have caffeine, what the else ever in it, right? Like the old Rip Fuel had who knows what in it, right?
May hung, dude. It was like one chemical step away from meth. I used it. I remember when I was back in the day, dude.
People died on
Who
that
remembers
stuff.
Rip Fuel?
Yeah, they had heart
if any of you
attacks,
guys
bro.
used it, I know. If any of you guys used it, drop a comment below. Then it got banned at GNC all over the place.
Everywhere.
Yeah, dude. It was great. I dropped like 80 pounds in 3 months before my wedding. It was crazy.
So any weightlifter or anybody that's in a bodybuilding that takes like a lot of stacks will tell you that it's really hard for them to calm down after a workout.
Yes.
So a lot of those
Yes.
guys actually use marijuana.
Yeah. I've heard
Because
that.
their body is so freaking
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like Arnold used to say, every time I come home, I'm coming. Every time I lift, I'm coming. Every time, you know, he's jacked up all the time.
Right.
He's just hard all the time, right? So,
I don't know if that was the exact words he used, but I'm pretty sure it is. Because I've
No,
heard
it
that
was.
before. I've heard those stories. I've heard those stories. Yeah.
but a cigar after a weight, you know, after a hard workout like that, where your body is still jazzed and you're not able to calm down enough to relax at the end of the night, something like this could contribute to helping you relax at the end
Oh
of the
yeah. Absolutely.
night. Yeah. In a healthier way than other things could.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I think that the times that and don't get me wrong, not every weekend do I work out real hard and then come home and have a cigar and protein shake. It's more of a rarity for me than it's an absolute. But when I smoke on the weekends, and I usually don't because I'm at home and I don't smoke a lot at home unless it's cold outside, we have a fire pit and kids are around and wife and I are outside and dogs are pooping all over the yard, whatever. But every time I've enjoyed that, I've really enjoyed it. And it really is a calming effect. It's really nice. It's enjoyable contemplation. I'm usually doing that by myself, not with a bunch of buddies, So I don't know if it'd be kind of fun to have like a gym, like an outdoor cigar bar where you get like afterwards, go get a cigar and get some coffee.
Your protein shake and a
get your
freaking
protein
cigar.
drink and just sit there with your boys and smoke a cigar. That's a concept I get behind in a heartbeat. So if anyone has that concept, holla at your boy. I got you. In my experience, cigars are incredibly relaxing, and the stimulation that you would get from a cigar, particularly if you don't smoke cigars a lot, would be more than somebody who's already used to it,
Yeah.
for sure. So if maybe you don't smoke cigars all the time, maybe let's say you smoke one a month or one every quarter or something like that, and then you start smoking them before a workout, there could be some stimulation there. I don't know that it's going to be like, it's definitely not going to be as much as like a pre-workout. They have pre-workouts out there with like 350 milligrams of caffeine and everything like that. The amount of nicotine that you would get out of a cigar by properly smoking it, not really huffing and puffing it, but properly smoking it, it's not nearly what you would get out of like, a nicotine pouch in particular. It's just nowhere near that. I know that because I use nicotine pouches. So, and I smoke cigars all the time and use nicotine pouches all the time. So this is nowhere near the kick or the advantage of that laser focus or the stimulation that a nicotine, concentrate like in the pouch form would give you. So I don't know that smoking this before, a set or going to the gym or anything like that is really going to affect you all that much. I don't think if you smoke it and you do it, and you get better lifts or better gains or anything like that, that it's because of the cigar. It might just be mental at that point. I will say, and I will go down in history by being one of those guys. I think when you're done lifting and you're hanging out with your boys and you get a drink and a cigar or something like that, preferably coffee or something like that, because I think alcohol after you work out is one of the worst times to drink alcohol.
So is coffee, actually.
Oh, one of the worst times. There we go.
They're both dehydrants.
Oh, there we go. So make sure you have plenty of water and Gatorade or anything like that. But it's incredibly enjoyable because you're blitzed and you're exhausted and your whole body's worked out. So I typically work out like this. So I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday are upper bodies. Tuesday and Thursday are lower body. So
how you work out?
That's how I work out. What is that? Yeah, that's how I work out, bro. I'll show you my gains, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, dude. I'm getting it, bro. I'm not getting it like I used to, but
that's the only thing I give Brad continuous shit about. It's just it's when he comes in and he's like, dude, I freaking killed it at the gym today. I'm like, yeah, dude, you pick up a pickle with your butt cheeks?
Dude, I'm old, bro. I'm happy about little wins. Come on, bro. I'm old now, right? I'm not like I used to be, dude.
No,
give me the wins, man.
I did say something to somebody. I don't know if it was yesterday or today. We were talking. Maybe it was Carl. But I will say that, like, I've never been somebody who's been big on lifting weights. And that's just because my personal
Sure.
I don't like going to the gym. I hate lifting.
You're a runner, dude. Yeah.
But I'm going to say something that I've realized now that I'm not super old, dude. I'm 33. But my body's a little older than that. So what I've realized, though, is by not lifting anymore, my body is not as used to the damage. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if I go play 3 hours of basketball now and I'm not lifting weights, my body is just taking incredible abuse that it's not built up to handle.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, like, I've even started thinking about, like, what can I do potentially to just make my body more.
Come to the gym, bro.
I ain't coming to the gym.
Come to the gym, bro.
I'll do it at home.
Come on, bro.
I'll keep running up mountains.
I'll take you to EOS with me, dude. I'll take you to EOS with me, dude. We'll go in there and we'll rack up the weights a little bit. It'll be fun.
See, my issue is like movements that my body doesn't do on a normal basis, which when you do certain types of weightlifting, you can separate out those sections of things that your body's not getting worked on. Like for me, it was my shoulder. My right shoulder, because I was swinging. I can bat right or left-handed, and I don't bat left-handed very often.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna take some swings left-handed and work on my swing. Yeah, my body was like, you suck.
Well, let's take a pause from the topic at hand and tell me about the cigar, how it's developed for you.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Again, dude, it's one of those ones where it's like, how is this something I don't smoke more often?
Well, I mean, it's one of those cigars that tends to fly under the radar for us because we're smoking so many different test blends a lot. But I think that...
Well, and you think you know what you like smoking because you're like, I like Maduros, or I want problems.
Right, 100%.
And then you're like, you like good cigars, and there's lots of good cigars out there.
This is a very, very good cigar, very well made. The ash is perfect on. The burn is razor sharp. The sheen of the caramel color on the wrapper there is beautiful. It's really good. It's very, very good. Again, creaminess, nuttiness, that slight wood that you're talking about. Light pepper, not much at all. I'd say the pepper on this is probably maybe a 2 or 3 out of 10.
A little bit of a baker spice, maybe.
Right, 100%. Got that baker spice in there as well. Maybe I think that's what the pepper's kind of working with on there. I really, really, really do enjoy this. I think it's very good.
I'd say the only thing that might be off-putting to some people, just to be, because I keep it honest, it does get a little bit leathery.
Okay.
Which I like. I don't mind in this cigar.
You say that with every cigar. So when you say leathery, I think I've asked you about this before.
Yeah, we talked about it.
So when you say leathery, do you mean... So when I think of leather, or that leather scent, right?
Okay.
I think of... You said shoe polish, I think, at one point. Didn't you? Something like that?
Yeah, that's the closest thing that I can relate. Like if I... So like blow everything out of your mouth, give it a second, and then that aftertaste that kind of lingers on the tongue. It's a little creamy.
It's super sweet, though, too. It's very nice.
It is. I didn't say it was a dirty leather.
Sure. I think of like when I walk in, we went to Harley, right?
Yeah.
We go to Harley and they got a whole section of leather jackets.
But that's how it smells.
Yeah, that's how.
Did you eat it?
No, I didn't eat it. Yeah, obviously I didn't eat it. I haven't eaten any old shoes
You
either
need to chew on some leather, bro.
When I think of the way that you're explaining leather, I think of the way the shoe smells with the leather on the shoe, or like a leather scent, like walking into Harley and seeing all the leather jackets and all the leather, all the Harley equipment in particular. So that's what I associate leather with. And with that, I could say I definitely got a little bit of that out of here. Not a ton.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Not a ton, but really the primary notes on the cigar that I taste are nuttiness, creaminess, sweetness, and that wood, with a little bit of the leather that you're talking about on there. When you say graham cracker, I think that really wraps it up very well as far as what do those notes translate into food-wise that everyone eats. Who doesn't love graham crackers, right? Especially with s'mores. Now, this doesn't have the marshmallow or chocolate necessarily, but it absolutely does have that graham cracker kind of taste in there.
And you only get that leathery note I'm talking about after you've blown the smoke out, and you're just tasting what's left lingering in your mouth.
Dude, it's so good. It's very good.
It's tasty.
It's a very good cigar. Yeah, it's
Again,
wonderful.
How many times do we smoke something that we haven't smoked in a while? Like every time we smoke the Fallout, we're like, oh my God, dude, why do we not smoke this more?
It's really fun because, well, I mean,
we have so much to smoke.
When you're in the industry and you're smoking so many different cigars, you're testing different cigars, you're tasting different cigars, and we get a lot of cigars to test. I think that once we get something, we're like, oh, that's pretty good. That'll do well, and it does. We're like, that's great. It's obviously a good cigar. To go back and test it, and we do test our blends from time to time. We don't test every blend every week or anything else like that, unless there's a complaint or something like that. But I think that Yeah, this blend is on point. If you like Habanos, I would absolutely recommend you guys trying this. It's a very, very good Habano.
Even if you don't like Habanos,
yeah,
it's a nice.
It's a great cigar.
Stick.
Yeah, it's a good medium-bodied stick.
Very.
Yeah, and I'd say more light to medium than like strong. I think any
time of day.
Right, 100%. I think even a new smoker could smoke it.
Yeah, it might have a little bit of a tingle. Mm-hmm. It's been so long since I'd be interested to give it to somebody who hasn't smoked cigars very long and see what they say.
It's very good, though. I'm enjoying every bit of it. So, well, guys, what do you think about cigars and athletic performance? Drop a comment below on some of the conversation that we've had today, because I'd love to hear what you think about it. So that's really all we have for today. So for the Zeal Cigar Review, I've been Bradley. He's been JB. And we're out of here like last year. Peace.